Will Donald Trump make the UFC great again? Before I get into that, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe as I have brand new videos every single week. So in case you missed it, Donald Trump, yes, the old what's-it himself, has announced plans to host a UFC event on the actual grounds of the White House. No, I'm not joking. Here is what he said.
We're going to have a UFC fight. We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this, on the grounds of the White House. We have a lot of land there. We're going to build a little, we're not, Dana's going to do it. Dana's great, one of a kind. Going to have a UFC fight, championship fight, full fight, like 20, 25,000 people.
This is all part of America's 250th year of independence, a historic milestone, a time to reflect on freedom and independence, and to watch Conor McGregor and Jon Jones chase clout for big piles of cash. What I find mental, right, about this whole situation is the UFC started as the ultimate anti-establishment sport. The whole point was to be rebellious, underground, different. And now, Dana White sucks off Trump every chance he gets, and he's turning the UFC into a propaganda prop for Trump. This would happen nowhere else. In the UK, if any politician turns up to a sporting event, they get booed like they're Darth Vader.
The medals tonight will be presented by the Right Honourable George Osborne MP, Chancellor of the Exchequer.
We don't want politicians at our sporting events because it's cringe as fuck. But the UFC is rolling out the red carpet, ready to line up and suck Trump off. And it gets even better or worse, depending on how you look at it. Apparently both Conor McGregor and Jon Jones are putting their hands up to fight on this card. Conor's been tweeting like mad, sharing AI pictures of himself and Chandler, and sharing his DMs with Dana. And Jon Jones has allegedly re-entered the testing pool. There's no way this twat is getting off the drugs and back into the octagon.
Well, this is a big bag of drugs. And all I'm going to do is just tape it on here like this. Oh, and then, you know, have fun!
Drugs. Drugs. Drugs!
Jones has also been commenting under pictures of himself knocking out Tom. Why is Jon talking all of a sudden now, right? He had the chance to fight Tom and he was just a little bitch about it and ran away. Does anyone actually believe that Jon Jones and Conor McGregor are even coming back? They're both desperate for attention. Both of these guys have spent more time in courtrooms than they have in the octagon in the last few years. And every now and again, right, both of these guys pop up on Twitter, say I'm back, everyone loses their mind for 5 minutes and then nothing. They're full of shit. I bet my house that they aren't coming back. And though, as much as I've just bitched about them both, it would be sweet to get Conor and Jones on this card. We've been waiting for years at this point for Chandler versus McGregor, and they are well past their primes, but they're both incredibly entertaining, and I love seeing Chandler fight. Plus, Conor is desperate to move into the political space, and if the money's right, we might actually get to see this happen. And of course, we'd all love to see Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. Imagine it, right? On US soil, outside the White House, the all-American Jon Jones gets fucking knocked out by Tom Aspinall on Independence Day. It would be hilarious. Tom should come dressed up as a red coat and really heal it up. There is no universe where that isn't the funniest outcome possible. What makes this event even more stupid is there isn't a single American champion in the UFC right now. Imagine putting on this big patriotic extravaganza and then every US fighter gets clattered by fighters from the UK, Russia, and even worse, the Mexicans.
We're going to build a wall. It's going to be built.
You know Dana is going to try his hardest to stack this card with American fighters so that they can hold the flag high at the end of this event. But in reality, they're probably all gonna get battered. And the biggest irony of all of this, the UFC has always tried to sell itself as a global sport, but they're so desperate to lick Trump's boots. And it's not just uncool, it's actually embarrassing. I don't get why we're so focused on America. There is a whole world desperate for the UFC. Look, I love big fights and I love big moments, but the UFC doesn't need to become a propaganda tool for Trump, because that's what they're doing and they're just wanting more attention. But is Trump going to save the UFC with this event? No, absolutely not. We'll all watch it and we'll all love every second of it for sure, but it's all gonna go tits up. And I'm still laughing at the thought of Tom Aspinall raising the Union Jack as the Americans celebrate the 4th of July. But thank you everyone for watching. If you can like, comment and subscribe, it really does help the channel out.